Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Will.
And I'm Brian.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons and Dragons, from paltry peasants to personal power. And today, we're revisiting the Paladin. The Dungeoncast.
Back at it.
Back
with
at it
another
again.
Paladin episode.
Indeed. It's been a while since the first one.
What are we getting into today?
We're going to break down a few different oaths. We got one oath from the Dungeon Master's Guide, and we got two from Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Okay.
And I'm excited. I'm excited about them, I suppose. I like them. Fair enough. You know, the Paladin was a class that got so right the first time that the extended stuff is actually a little lackluster. Okay. A little bit. Not really, though. It stands up. It's good. We'll get into it.
Okay.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is an oath with quotation marks introduced in the Dungeon Master's Guide. It's in the section about like villainous options for characters.
All right.
I think it's more designed for the Dungeon Master to build villainous NPCs, but it can work for PCs. We got the Death Domain for the cleric out of it.
Yeah.
And we get the Oathbreaker oath, even though it's not an oath.
Oathbreaker. We have touched that quite a bit, haven't we?
We've talked about it here
outside of the realm of the show.
Indeed, we have. And it is basically like the evil paladin path, if you will.
Nice.
The oath is really presented as an anti-oath. The idea is if a paladin
anti-oath.
Okay. If a paladin is seduced or turned to evil and breaks their original oaths, they can end up losing their powers and then gaining these eviler powers.
Okay.
So, this is
like that scene in Indiana Jones where he has to replace the statue with the bag of sand.
Yeah, sure. I feel personally that this oath is the only way that this concept for this oath works is if you really story-wise like embrace the dark side kind of deal.
Okay,
It's more like if your convictions completely change to something evil.
All right.
But you're still just as convinced about that being the way. Does that make sense? So, let's talk about Paladin Power source.
Yeah, do your goals change? Is that what you're saying? Like
kinda. Okay. So, Paladins traditionally tend to worship gods, and then like their belief in their gods and the following of the tenets will give them power. But also, and especially highlighted in 5th edition, a Paladin's power source comes from the convictions of their beliefs.
Okay.
So, this is a little...
Like how dedicated they are?
Kinda. Yeah. Okay. So, it's kind of ambiguous because according to the rules as written, the oath doesn't have to be to any higher power whatsoever.
Nice,
it could just be like, I believe in the concept of justice so goddamn strongly that my sword glows with radiant light.
Well, I mean, like that's how deities work. Like I am the god of justice. So
right.
like I'm fueled by justice, and when there is no justice, I come to correct it because that's like where
that is a good point.
Power comes from.
That is a good point. There is precedent for the concept of like belief being powerful.
Right.
I think in Forgotten Realms, a deity's power is kind of based off the proliferation of their like believers and the devotion of those believers. The more devoted the believers are, and the more believers there are, the more powerful that deity becomes.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's still the case because that wasn't always the case in Forgotten Realms. It wasn't until the time of Troubles happened that became the deal, and I don't know if it's changed since then. But that is kind of a like I said, a precedent.
So like, how would it work for pre-Tome of Foes Raven Queen? That's like. Who's believing? I know she has like worshipers, like people are believing in death and stuff, but like there can't be that many people like really believing in death. Well, most people.
Well, she's not even she's not even a deity anymore, technically.
I'm talking about before, like there's the concept, like
people believe in the Raven Queen. She's got plenty of worshipers. All the people who take care of the dead worship the Raven Queen. Everyone honors the Raven Queen. If anything, she's one of the more prominently believed and devoted.
Oh, like maybe I'm thinking like because like most people fear death. As like
fear is a form of belief. You have to believe in something to be afraid of it.
That's a good point.
So there it is. So
you got me there, Will.
One interesting story from Forgotten Realms. There's a deity. His name is I think it's Cyric or Cyric. That doesn't matter. He's like the god of madness and whatnot. And I'm not going to go tell his elaborate
god
story.
Of madness?
Well,
he's a god for everything.
He is insane, but like he tries to take advantage of this whole belief system by creating an artifact. I can't remember the name of it, but it's this book, and whoever reads it becomes like insanely devoted to him, to Cyric.
Okay, cool.
But then he tries to cheat the system by reading the book himself. And he almost fucking upsets the whole cosmos by doing this. He becomes ultra mega powerful because he believes in himself as the one true God.
It's like creating a paradox.
But it breaks his mind and turns him crazy. But we're not going to get into that. So yeah, belief has power. And that's where Paladin's powers come from.
Okay.
The belief in their ideals and their convictions. So for me, the whole Oathbreaker thing, the way that would work as written would mean that your beliefs have to completely shift, but still be just as strong.
Okay.
Because if you just lose faith, technically you should probably just lose your powers. You don't suddenly start being able to cast Hellish Rebuke and hate all living things. You know what I mean?
It's just like depower you. Yeah,
right,
that makes
exactly.
sense.
So that's my take on it. I usually use this oath, if you will. I completely reflavor it. I give it tenets that fit the character that I'm trying to make, and I usually use the Oathbreaker as a Blackguard or Hell Knight or Death Knight inspired character.
Right.
So there's another oath we'll talk about later that you can also use for evil characters. But usually what I do is I just reflavor the Oathbreaker to Oath of Evil of some sort, and then I come up with tenets for it, and I just treat it as that oath path. If
So
you will.
Anakin Skywalker is an Oathbreaker paladin.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Darth Vader is definitely an Oathbreaker paladin, without a doubt.
All Sith,
really. All Sith,
well,
really.
yeah, but like what moment could like break you so hard from your beliefs? Like what
I mean, it's
pivotal thing happened?
I mean, with Anakin, it's about selfishness, really.
Yeah.
So there it is. Selfishness and fear. But okay, let's
fears
get into
sand.
it. Let's actually get into the dang thing. So if you go the Oathbreaker route, you're going to get new eviler spells. You're going to get things like Hellish Rebuke, Inflict Wounds, Crown of Madness, Animate Dead, Blight, etc. Just evil.
New and eviler.
Indeed. The channel divinities you get at level 3 are pretty cool. You get Control Undead. So as an action, you can pick one undead within 30 feet of you, and that undead will make a wisdom save, and if it fails, it becomes your thrall for 24 hours or something like that.
Nice.
Now, undead that have a challenge rating equal to or greater than your level are immune to this.
Okay.
So don't bother trying.
Cool.
But it's basically once a day you can get a low-level minion. And like once you get like a hold of one, until it dies or goes down in battle, you probably keep it around. You just got to redo the channel divinity every 24 hours.
Yeah, you don't have to feed it or anything.
No, you really don't.
It's dead.
You really don't. So,
Or not dead. It's undead.
it's undead.
It's basically so you can send it to trigger traps for you.
That's true. It's just a walking meat bag.
Or it's a really, really crazy distraction.
Or that
Like in
too.
the middle of town.
Yeah. Good luck just walking through town.
Well, that's the thing. You just send it to distract, and then you can go like rob a bank.
That's true, but if you're just trying to roll through, though, it could be a little. Maybe you can like use a disguise kit on it and make it look living.
Yeah, huh?
Then you just walk
Not
through.
bad.
This is my wife.
Use this guy
Under-
like what
under
is
the cowl.
What is in the disguise kit that could like make the decaying flesh?
Well, I mean, you could put a mask on her and put a hood and then do makeup on this part. Hopefully, it's not
the
rotting.
best fucking Revlon you can
Yeah,
buy.
there we go. All right, moving on. The other channel divinity you get is called Wrathful Aspect. Basically, you create a burst of magic that like takes the form of a magical menace, and all creatures of your choice within 30 feet have to make a wisdom save to not be frightened for a minute.
So you can make a fucking poltergeist. Is what you just said.
Yeah, basically.
Nice. That's really cool.
I usually reflavor this to be like the thing I'm using on it fears the most. That's just flavor, but that's what I usually use.
It's that shit from the second Harry Potter. That
Remus, Bogart?
Yeah, Bogart.
Yeah.
From Remus Lupin's
that's pretty cool.
wardrobe or whatever.
Basically something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we use a homebrewed version of the Oathbreaker for my Paladin D'Artagnan Bloodthane, and I've used Wrathful Aspect. And I think the first time I used it was a bunch of town people that were harassing us for our race, really. And they thought we were evil magic users.
Yeah.
So because they saw me as like a devil man, which they weren't wrong.
They're not wrong.
When I use Wrathful Aspect to make them go the fuck away, I kind of just pictured like basically evil, hellish like imagery. And then there was another time I used it on these like giant like fey beetle monsters, and I basically had it look like a giant flaming bird like that would eat them because they're bugs.
I forgot about that. That's cool.
So that's how I tend to reflavor it.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are channel divinities. At level 7, you're going to get aura. Pretty much all oaths get like a special aura for their path.
Right.
This is called Aura of Hate.
Nice.
So you and any fiends or undead within 10 feet of you gain a bonus to weapon damage rolls equal to your charisma mod.
Nice. This is probably pretty high if you're a paladin, right?
Yeah, it's probably at least a 16 or higher.
Cool.
This is both good and hindering because if you're fighting a lot of fiends and undead, well, they're getting the bonus too.
Oh.
So it's kind of unfortunate. But if you're evil, they're probably on your side.
If you want the combat to go quicker, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, sure. I think we homebrewed this into something else for mine because it just didn't make sense. It was going... Can you imagine if I have the aura of hate with the amount of undead we fight in that campaign? Like, it would be... Plus, it doesn't make sense. Like, D'Artagnan's about fiendish stuff. He's not really about undead. But anyways, that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
At level 15, you get a feature called Supernatural Resistance. This one's pretty straightforward. You simply just resist... You get resistance to all non-magical weapon damage, bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing.
That's really good.
Yeah, solid,
that's really good.
Solid level 15. Okay, so here's a big one. All the Paladin's big giant feature happens at level 20, and they're all pretty extreme.
Yeah.
I printed
like
this one out.
Flight and stuff.
Yeah, they're all like these like transformations almost. So I actually printed this one out so I could read it verbatim. It's called Dreadlord.
Okay.
At 20th level, the Paladin can, as an action... Hold on, I'm going to pull this up so I can read a little better. Can surround himself or herself with an aura of gloom that lasts for 1 minute. The aura reduces any bright light within 30 feet around the Paladin to dim light. Whenever an enemy that is frightened by the Paladin starts its turn in the aura, it takes 4d10 psychic damage.
Oh.
Additionally, the Paladin and creatures he or she chooses in the aura are draped in deeper shadow. Creatures that rely on sight have disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures draped in the shadow. While the aura lasts, the Paladin can use a bonus action on his or her turn to cause the shadows in the aura to attack one creature. The Paladin makes a melee spell attack against a target. If the attack hits, the target takes necrotic damage equal to 3d10 plus the Paladin's charisma modifier. After activating this aura, the Paladin can't do it again for a long rest.
That is a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's really fucking brutal.
Potentially.
Almost all of the level 20 shit is really brutal, which it should be. It's level 20.
I mean, it could be like 10 damage, but it probably won't be.
3d10. 3d10, and also 4d10 if you're scared.
I'm just like, I get really depressed when I have a big thing like that go off and I roll like 1s and 2s.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
It does.
It's all, it's all a gamble.
So upset.
Your camera just put up a notification.
That's okay.
Okay. So with the Oathbreaker and all the like official lore on it, they actually like provide some guidance for Oathbreaker atonement. Mm-hmm. It's basically like story-wise, your Paladin really needs to actually change his opinion and maybe find his way back to the light and then do things to atone himself. Like,
okay.
To, I guess, balance out the evil he may have done or she may have done. And this is really all up to the DM. Again, I don't really actually use the Oathbreaker as an Oathbreaker, so I don't have actual experience doing this. But I mean, I think having this like a little atonement bit written out is important because that's technically what this oath is for.
Right. Okay. Oh.
Any questions about the Oathbreaker?
No, I just really like it. It's very cool.
It's very flavorful, really juicy. One of my critiques about it is that it can't decide what it is. It has like a lot of undead stuff, but also has some fiendish stuff, and like those two things aren't really related to each other.
Yeah,
it's just you're evil, so I guess you have an affinity to all evil things.
Lots of evil stuff in your life now.
It's easily reflavored to whatever you need it to be.
True. All
right, so moving on.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so the next path that oath that we're gonna talk about is from Xanathar's Guide. This one really leans into lawful evil. And I don't think it should lean quite as much into lawful evil as it does, because it doesn't really leave room for like a lawful neutral twist on it, but it's the Oath of Conquest.
Okay.
And so essentially this is an oath of war in tyranny. It's about domination, which is cool, which is awesome. I really like this oath, but I feel like they should have left a little bit more room for neutrality, because I feel like there is kind of this lawful neutral path of like, I'm a general, I'm a war, I'm about the tactics.
Yeah, the strategy and the winning.
The strategy and the honor, of not fleeing and this and that.
Yeah, like the prowess it takes to be a high level soldier like that.
But maybe less about the like whipping the people into slavery bit
Right.
at the end, you know? You know what I mean? But that's just me. So anyways, here are the tenets of the Oath of Conquest. Number 1, douse the flame of hope.
Cool.
Victory is not enough. You must overwhelm and shatter your enemy's will to fight.
God damn. Okay.
Number 2, rule with an iron fist. Tolerate no dissent. Your word is law. Obeyers are favored, defiers are punished.
Nice. Iron fist in it.
And finally, strength above all. You shall rule until someone stronger arises. Then you must meet their challenge or fall.
That makes sense.
Be strong.
Be strong.
Don't be weak.
More strong.
Indeed. So the spells that you get with this oath are very do what I say.
Yeah,
you get,
absolutely.
You get stuff like command, hold person, fear, dominate beast, dominate person. Just do what I command you to.
Yeah, everybody's going to do what I say.
Indeed.
Not just the people that signed up to do what I say, but
Yeah,
the people
everybody.
that I'm trying to make do what I say. They're going to do it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, moving on. Channel Divinities. Okay, this is where we start getting into things I have to critique about this oath. So, the Channel Divinities, one is a reskinned, or it's a renamed Channel Divinity that another oath gets, and the other is a feature just straight ripped from a cleric domain.
Okay.
So, the first one, Conquering Presence, it's basically Wrathful Aspect.
Okay.
Word for word, just called Conquering Presence.
That's-
I think
okay.
part of the
That's
flavor
weird.
is like you don't get the magical menace part, but it does exactly the same thing. So everyone within 30 feet of you of your choice has to make a wisdom saving throw or be frightened for a minute.
Okay.
There it is.
But they don't see a ghost.
But they don't. But they don't see a ghost. They don't see the
Ghost,
greatest fear.
Okay, if it's just like a being made of magic, is it a ghost or is it? That's spectral, right? Like,
No, that's not a
what,
ghost.
What is a ghost?
We'll get into that in the ghost episode.
We're gonna have a ghost episode.
We're gonna have a ghost episode.
Hell yeah!
This
okay.
October, I'm sure.
Nice.
Okay, the next Channel Divinity that you get is called Guided Strike. Now this is ripped straight from the War Domain Cleric.
Okay.
Which I kind of get because this is almost like a War Domain Paladin. And
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Very war driven.
I would have appreciated at least changing the name like you did for Wrathful Aspect, which is now Conquering Presence. But you didn't. You just called it Guiding Strike, and it's the same thing.
Yeah. Why do it for one and not the other? That
It's a
seemed
little
kind of
odd,
odd,
right? So when you make an attack roll, you can choose to gain a +10 bonus to the roll for accuracy.
Nice.
You can choose before or after the roll, so if you roll like a 2, like you can be like, nah, it's a 12.
I like that they give you the option to do that.
Yeah, because otherwise, there can
You'd
be
be wasting
seriously disappointing moments if you crit and you use Guiding Strike.
Right.
Now, Guiding Strike is cool, I guess, for those really like clinch moments where you really need to get that hit in, but I don't know. I'm always in favor of more damage than accuracy, but that's just a personal preference. I mean, it's probably more mechanically sound to have the accuracy, quite frankly.
Yeah, to land, make sure the hit actually lands.
Yeah, because I mean, you can once you land the hit, you can pack all your divine smites and shit onto it.
Yeah,
so.
you can action surge as a fighter and just like fucking miss.
That's true.
Again.
If you multi-class fighter, you get the action surge. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, that'd be crazy.
Okay.
I was just talking about regular fighters.
So that's a level 3.
Uh-huh.
Level 7, you get your aura. It's called Aura of Conquest. So you constantly emanate a menacing aura within 10 feet of you. If a creature is frightened of you, its speed is now 0, and it takes psychic damage equal to half of your paladin level on the start of its turn.
Its speed is 0?
It just basically freezes, and you're just, oh my god.
I've been dominated.
Yeah, I have a really cool
conquested.
I have a really cool flavor idea for a character. Spoiler: this is the path that we're building later.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah, any questions about the Aura of Conquest before we move on?
That's fucking. Don't get near these fools.
No. They're supposed to be like a dominating force on the battlefield, and I think that's fairly fitting. It's a really good aura.
Just range attack it. Range attack it to death.
Yeah, kite it. So at level 15, you get a feature called Scornful Rebuke. Whenever a creature hits you with an attack, that creature takes physical damage equal to your charisma mod. How dare you strike this?
You're going to strike this?
Indeed.
Not this.
You're going
not
to pay
me.
the price. I'm gonna give you a death glare, and you're going to take psychic damage for it.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Exactly. So,
Nobody.
So there that is. Level 20. Here's the big one. Invincible Conqueror.
Oh,
As an action, you become an avatar of Conquest.
nice.
You resist all damage. You get an extra attack, and you crit on 19 or 20s. So pretty straightforward. You just become really, really good.
Yeah. I'm just much better now.
Yeah, it's cool and it's fun. I think it's slightly lackluster flavor wise from some of the other ones, but hey, it's solid. I like it.
Holy power around your skin or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how do you explain? I
mean,
struggle with explaining
okay, so
it.
my idea for a character is like an ASMR, like basically a descendant of a war god.
Yeah.
And like when they hit level 20 and become the invincible conqueror, I just picture like flaming angel wings and like a giant sword and shield, and they just look like an avatar of war. So yeah.
Like late game Diablo characters.
Sure, yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly like that.
Nice.
So that's it for those two. And before we get to the third one, let's take a short rest.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the part of the episode where we're not talking about the other thing. Will, are you ready to do this short rest?
I'm ready. Let's
Hell
short
yeah.
rest.
Let's short rest it up. We want to say thank you to all of you for listening. We really appreciate you being here as always. Man, if you're looking for love on the internet, stop, because you found it. And it's love from me to you.
It's right here.
So, yeah, thanks for listening to the show. What do we got? Do we got announcements?
I think we have a new patron to announce.
We do have a new patron. Thank you, Mac Angus.
Thank you, Mac Angus.
McAngus. Thank you.
Mike Angus. What's up, bro?
You're our Kangas now.
Thank you.
And contest coming up?
We do have a contest. So
we got a new contest.
I put up a poll asking y'all to vote, and y'all voted. And winning was the fancy dice sets.
I love
option.
fancy dice.
So I went ahead and picked out 2 dice sets, an elven dice set and a dwarven dice set. And this contest is running from July 1st to July 31st. So for the month of July, we'll announce the winners on August 1st. And the way you enter is tweet a link to our show with the hashtag Dungeoncast and also with the hashtag of the dice set you want. So if you want the elven set, hashtag elven. If you want the dwarven set, hashtag dwarven.
So it's really 2 contests wrapped up into one contest.
I suppose you could just...
You could enter twice,
you
right?
could enter twice.
Yeah, for each set of dice.
I didn't think about this. But yeah, and feel free, go ahead. Tweet us out twice.
If you forget the link, if you forget to hashtag the set of dice you want, what happens?
I'm not going to enter you in the contest at that point.
Oh, you should
remember.
Just flip a coin. Flip a coin for them.
I guess so. Yeah, I'll enter you randomly if you forget to do the elven or dwarven one.
So hashtag it Dungeoncast if you guys want a specific set of dice. Hashtag it with which dice set you want. It's elven or dwarven. And if you forget that, then you're going to get one at random if you win.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's all just because we want to spread the word about the show, because it really helps our show a lot if you tell somebody about it. So tweeting out a link to the show is a great way to get visibility on it. But if you want to help us out, just look to like somebody you know and tell them about our show and just be like, hey, listen to this, and maybe they'll like it.
Indeed.
You can tell them to find us on soundcloud.com/thedungeoncast or on YouTube, search the Dungeoncast. You can email us at Gmail or at thedungeoncast@gmail.com if you want to leave us some feedback or just tell us a cool story. I like reading those. There is our Twitter at the Dungeoncast. And yeah, if you want to check out what we're doing on our Patreon, I think by this episode or next episode, Ranger Danger will be up into the $10 tier. Thanks for being patient, you guys. And we got more stuff on the way as always. Mostly in the upper tiers, it's like us playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it's always a kick-ass time. So get in there. But in the $5 tier, we got like early episodes and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, check it out. Patreon.com/thedungeoncast. And that's it. I think we should go back to the show.
Let's go back to the show.
Let's do it.
And we're back.
Yeah, you're right about that, Will. We are back.
Okay, so let's talk about a Paladin Oath that's much more traditional than the last two. Much less evil and much more incredibly good.
Okay, cool. Because I was like being misled. Like all these new Paladins are just like anti-Paladins.
They're all assholes.
Most Paladins are assholes.
Well, maybe.
Probably.
Sometimes. Not really.
Not the what's their face Paladins. Bahamut Paladins.
Yeah, they're super
cool.
nice. Yeah. So this oath is called the Oath of Redemption, and this is a peacemaker Paladin. They use violence only as the very last resort in all situations.
Cool.
The idea is that all persons can be redeemed and can be forgiven and can become good. As a matter of fact, I believe the belief is all things are not necessarily born evil, even though that's not true. Some things are super born evil.
Some things are born evil in Dungeons and Dragons.
Indeed. So let's get into the tenets. So the tenets of redemption. Number 1, peace, diplomacy, and understanding before violence in all things.
Okay.
Tenet 2, innocence. All are born innocent. and that's not true, and are only turned evil by their environment. By being an example, you can set anyone on the righteous path. When I say that's not true, I mean demons.
Well, yeah, and in D&D specifically, not in real life.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
We're not going to get into real life.
No, we're not getting into real life philosophy on good and evil. Tenet number 3, patience. Change takes time. Once the seed of good has been planted, you must work day after day to allow it to survive and flourish.
Damn, sounds cumbersome as hell.
Indeed. And the final tenet, wisdom. Have the wisdom to know when you have failed, and the last 3 tenets must be forgone for violence. You know what? Fuck it.
This is just like so much responsibility.
Absolutely. No, this is like, yeah.
You're taking on an emotional, like painstaking emotional burden. You have to constantly manage yourself and check yourself.
This is Superman.
Yeah,
is what this is.
Basically.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the spells. So you get spells that are really focused on peacemaking and like redemption, I guess. Well, it makes sense. It's the Oath of Redemption. Sanctuary, Calm Emotions, Counter Spell, and Hold Monster. You're just like, everyone hold the fuck on. Let's just talk about this.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We don't have to fight yet.
We don't have to fight.
Especially with
Stop
this
casting spells at me. They're just bouncing back at you. You're hurting yourself. Can't you see?
Stop hitting yourself. No, please. I mean it.
I really want you to stop. So yeah, I like this path. I think it's really interesting, and it'd be interesting to play in a game with this kind of paladin always trying to make peace.
Yeah, because you're constantly trying to problem solve.
Yeah, I like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, that can be fun for the DM. It's like, okay, let's see how he's gonna get out of this one.
Right, indeed. So for channel divinities, you get a channel divinity called Emissary of Peace. Basically, you gain a +5 to all persuasion checks for 10 minutes.
Cool.
So you're really good at that diplomacy.
Nice.
Just listen. And then you get a more combat-oriented one called Rebuke the Violent. When an attacker within 30 feet of you deals damage to a creature other than you, you can use a reaction to force them to make a wisdom save. On a failed save, it takes radiant damage equal to the damage that it dealt. On a success, it takes half the damage.
Okay, cool.
So basically, stop hitting my friends.
Yeah.
But it's just a one-off, once per short rest. But I mean, it's pretty. It's
good punish.
On a big hit, it's really good.
yeah.
On a crit, very nice,
tasty, delicious.
Indeed. It's the few times that this class choice can like really deal the damage.
Yeah, because you're not negotiating peace because you're weak. You're like negotiating peace so you don't have to fuck someone up.
Indeed. So the aura you get at level 7 is called Aura of the Guardian. When a creature within 10 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to take the damage on yourself.
That's cool.
Very protective. I really like this as like a tanky build. That's pretty cool.
It's good strategy for in combat. Like you're gonna get into combat. It's
it's unavoidable. What are you gonna do? Reason with a beholder?
You're gonna hold person it.
Yeah, right. Hold monster, please. Okay, so at level 15, you get a feature called Protective Spirit. If you end your turn in combat with less than half your max HP, you regain 1d6 plus half your paladin level worth of HP, but not if you're unconscious.
Okay.
That would make you immortal. You just keep getting up. He won't stay down. He just won't die.
That would be good.
Right.
Pretty good.
That'd be too powerful. But I like the longevity this gives you.
It lets you take on that damage for your friend and not have to eat it so hard.
Right. Indeed.
Okay.
Finally, level 20, Emissary of Redemption. You become an avatar of peace. You resist all damage. Whenever a creature hits you, it takes radiant damage equal to half the damage that it deals.
Okay.
So here's the caveat to that. If you attack, cast a spell, or cause damage to a creature from another benefit, from any other feature that you have, if you cause any damage, this Emissary of Redemption benefit does not work against that creature until you take a long rest. Does that make sense?
Okay, hit me again.
Okay, so basically the idea of this is like you become like this damage sponge.
Yeah.
You resist all damage, and whenever a creature hits you, it takes radiant damage equal to half the damage that it dealt.
That's cool.
So the idea here is that you just kind of walk into the middle of it all and just start taking it all on you. But you don't, if you lift a finger against anybody or cause them harm in any way, your peace power turns off for that specific creature.
Right, okay.
So the idea is you just kind of become this damage sponge and distract the enemy while you basically sit, you're a rock now. You sit there and do nothing.
You could focus on one and start smacking the crap out of it, and then the rest of the creatures that are hitting you are going to take that damage. So if you're surrounded, that's a better situation.
This situation works really well, I would say, if you take the fighting style, the defensive fighting style, the one that where you protect allies around you. And just maybe there's a few feats I think that you can take, or like Sentinel or whatever, where you just want whatever it is you're doing this to focus on you.
Right.
Because the idea is you want it to just keep hitting you.
Yeah, what is it? Command duel or compel duel?
Compel duel is a good one. Ooh, but that's casting a spell. You can't do that.
You can't.
So it's a little tricky. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I like the idea. I would love to see the execution.
You literally just walk in there as a distraction.
Just hands raised up.
Like maybe there's like a gem you got, like your buddies can go after while you go in there and just take hits.
Right.
Just take hits.
Yeah.
So they gotta go get the thing.
So there that is. Okay. So let's talk about, we're actually gonna build a character, and rather than do this a normal way, I'm going to tell you my character concept, and then we'll break and we'll get all the stuff out and we'll actually try and build her.
Okay, cool.
So I want to build an Oath of Conquest paladin.
All right.
And I want to do that thing I said where I kind of twist it so that's not so goddamn evil.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe she'll worship or Tempest. Tempest is like a lawful neutral war deity. Forgotten Realms. I actually don't know much about him, but he's lawful neutral, and that's the important part.
That's what matters.
Yeah. So my idea is for an ASMR, who in 5th edition we established ASMR are they're one of two things. They can either be descendant of celestials or gods, or they were given a shard of heaven or whatever. So my idea here is that she actually in her bloodline is a descendant of a god of war. And basically ASMR we know are brought into this world for a purpose. Yeah. And her purpose is to wage war, to fight in the wars, and to be mighty, and to basically kind of promote the glory of this god. And I really, I'm basing her in some ways off of the Legend of Achilles and his Myrmidons, because I picture her as almost a Spartan-looking warrior with a shield and spear, the Spartan sandals and a cape. She's got long blonde hair. Her name is Phaedra, which is kind of a spin-off a Greek name. Phaedra. I think Phaedra sounds better. Phaedra of Sargoth. We'll say Sargoth is the city she hails from. Cool. Okay. And her posse just they're mercenaries. They're just whoever they get hired by, that's who they fight for. And they stick to their word. They don't just abandon because the fight's going south or whatever. They stick to it to the end. Nice. And yeah, she's just a force of nature on the battlefield.
How big are her biceps?
Very large. Good. Very, very, good. Very, very big. And I picture her whenever she I know in ASMR they get a divine transformation where they grow wings and whatnot. And I also, as the Oath of Conquest, there's your conquering presence, and then later on you become an avatar of war. I just picture again flaming angel wings. Nice. And I picture her having a call sign, and her call sign would be Warbird or Warhawk or something like that.
That's neat. Okay.
So yeah. So Phaedra of Sargoth. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to build her.
Right. Good. All right. Sounds good. Hey, we've done it again.
Indeed.
We've returned.
Indeed. And we're going to build a character. We're going to build Phaedra of Sargoth.
How many levels?
3 levels.
3 levels.
I think she's just getting started. She's kind of made a name for herself, but she hasn't become the legend that she will be. Much like Achilles.
This is the beginning.
And I think her end goal is to die in battle. I think if she dies of old age, she would be severely disappointed.
I want to play that kind of character where I wake up in the morning, I eat my breakfast, and I'm like, today's the day I might die in battle.
Yeah, right.
My glory at last.
Thank God.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to be ASMR, like I said. I think we're going to choose the Scourge ASMR because that one's a little bit more fiery and wrathful. I'm going to get a +2 to Charisma for being ASMR, which is good for a Paladin, and a +1 to Constitution for being Scourge. And that's also good for Paladin.
Hit me with that again. +1,
+2 to Charisma, +1 to Constitution.
Got it.
Speed base 30. I get Dark Vision because who doesn't in 5e?
Yeah.
I resist both necrotic and radiant damage because of my celestial resistance. I get Healing Hands, which is basically Lay on Hands Light. That's based off my race, so that's going to actually really assist me alongside Lay on Hands.
Lay on Hands
Light.
It's
honestly ASMR and Paladin are like a match made in heaven. No pun intended. I also know the light cantrip just cause, and yeah, I could speak celestial so I could talk to my dad.
Nice. Sometimes I just want to talk to my dad.
Sometimes we just want a heart to heart. So let's actually roll some motherfucking stats.
Let's do it. I think it's a great idea.
Wouldn't it be really shitty if I roll really bad all the time? All right, first roll is a total of 9. Not off to a great start. We're gonna say that 9 is in wisdom because she's not wise. She's rash.
Okay.
All right, that's much better. We're looking at a 15.
15.
Probably strength for that one, but we'll see. Next up is an 8. That is not great.
Nope.
Intelligence. I'm not brainy.
It's all bicep in there.
Indeed. Okay, that's a bit better. Ooh, that's actually really good. That is I can do math. 16. No, 15. It's another 15. Sorry.
Another 15.
All right. I'm min-maxed to all hell. I'm the best at what I do, and what I do ain't nice. All right. Next up is a 13.
Not bad.
How many more rolls do I have?
So far we have 5. So.
Okay, last one. I'm happy with these rolls already. I spoke too soon. 11. No, that's solid.
So
I'm into it.
It's pretty
I'm
good.
into it.
It worked out.
Let me see the spread.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make some key decisions here. All right. 13 into charisma, which is gonna be a 15 now. You can write that down.
13 into
charisma, but plus 2. So so charisma is now 15.
Okay.
And then moves ahead. Zinkusa.
You said 15 in strength, right?
Yeah, 15 strength for sure, because I super need that.
Okay.
So, and then 15 into Constitution plus 1, so that's a 16. So my highest is actually Constitution. I'm just so beefy.
Okay. 16, got it.
So like I said, 8 into Wisdom for Phaedra is not wise and she is not patient.
Okay.
9 into Intelligence, so that she's not a complete idiot.
She's mostly going off of instinct.
Indeed. And then I guess that straggly 11 can go into Dex. So there we go.
Straggly as fuck.
Indeed. So again, I picture her with like a spear and shield, much like a Spartan warrior.
Yeah. Big round shield.
Yeah, big round shield, sure. With the sigil of her god or her granddaddy on it.
Her dad's painting.
Her dad, her granddad, her ancestor.
It's just like airbrushed on there.
There we go. And yeah, so I think at level 3 she's just gonna have like the channel divinities and a couple of the cool spells. Her divine smite, I think it is going to be radiant. I mean, I know I usually flavor my paladin divine smites, but with this I'm going with standard, just radiant damage.
Cool.
Just a shining spearhead as she pierces into her enemy.
I think that's dope.
Yeah, and I just picture her, she's much like Achilles, she's just brash. She doesn't got time for bullshit. She just loves killing.
It's too strong.
Indeed.
Cannot be
And
stopped.
I just picture her almost like a Themyscirian squad, like from DC, just like all female myrmidons that just and I want them to be a squad of note. Maybe they're not like the legendary myrmidons yet, but they're definitely like they're not obviously really called myrmidons.
Fuck, I've heard of Squad B.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Squad B becomes like really legendary.
Nice,
And
cool.
Basically, my goal for this, if I were to actually run this in a campaign and Phaedra were to make it into the high levels without dying, is for her to become kind of like a legend warriors tell each other, like you could be like the next Phaedra. You know
cool.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like
That's
that.
really
like, you
cool.
could be the next Achilles. You could be the next Phaedra.
So does your character have a weak point on their body? Like a really
should probably
obscure
make
weak point?
Ah, man, I did not think about this.
Like the little crook in the back of the knee?
Maybe. Maybe she twists just wrong. Her back goes out. She's,
Sciatic nerve.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll go with that.
Bad really overactive sciatic nerve.
There we go.
She can't sit for too long.
With that, I think we're done. I think we built her. I think she's cool. I think she's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's pretty rad.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Call it a
game.
Bye.